Where your attention goes, your life follows. You don't lose your dreams all at once. You lose them one distraction at a time. It doesn't happen in a dramatic moment. It slips in quietly. A few minutes here, a few missed efforts there, a day of delay, a week of drift, and before you know it, the sharp edge of purpose has worn smooth. You stop seeing clearly what once set your heart on fire. The dream is still there. You've just stopped walking toward it. Distraction doesn't really steal your time. It steals your direction. And once direction is gone, effort scatters like sand in the wind. Most people don't notice it happening. Their lives break into small fragments, a little work, a little worry, a little wandering, but nothing held long enough to become mastery. They stay busy, always moving, yet rarely moving forward. They mistake motion for progress and noise for meaning. The real problem today isn't a shortage of ambition, it's a shortage of attention. People still have goals, they still dream, but they've forgotten how to stay with something until it becomes real. They begin with energy, then fade quietly, puzzled that life feels full, but somehow hollow. Greatness has never belonged to the busiest person. It has always belonged to the most focused. Every masterpiece, every discovery, every fortune, every work of art was built by someone who learned to hold one thought long enough for it to take root. Focus is the unseen currency of achievement. It costs nothing but your commitment, and it's worth more than talent or luck. A focused mind turns ordinary effort into excellence. A distracted mind turns opportunity into dust. If you look closely at the lives of remarkable people, the inventors, the thinkers, the builders, the artists, you'll find a common thread. They knew how to give themselves completely to what they were doing. For an hour, a day, a lifetime, they were present, body, mind, and spirit pointing in one direction. That's why their work endured. That's why their names still echo. Distraction never looks dangerous. It often looks comfortable. It wears the mask of rest, the disguise of ease. It whispers, you can get back to it tomorrow. But each time you listen, it takes something small, a little strength, a little focus, a little flame. And one morning you wake up to find you've been living a divided life. A divided mind can't build anything whole. The secret to fortune, to mastery, to peace hasn't changed through the ages. It's still attention. Whatever you give your whole attention to begins to multiply. Whatever you ignore begins to fade. So ask yourself honestly, where is your attention going? Because that's where your life is already heading. You don't lose your potential in one great collapse. You lose it in 1,000 small distractions, the moments when you turn away from what matters most. Focus builds fortune. Focus builds peace. Focus builds the person you were meant to become. And in a world that pulls at you from every direction, the greatest victory left is to master your own attention. The mindset that protects you from noise and mediocrity. If you want to live a focused life, you cannot think the way average people think. Most people are not failing because they're not intelligent. They're failing because they let the world set their rhythm. They give their attention to anything that asks for it, and then wonder why nothing in their life is strong, deep, or built to last. You cannot live like that and expect greatness. To protect your focus, you must first decide that not everything deserves you. Not every conversation, not every invitation, not every opinion, not every distraction earns the right to enter your mind. Your attention is not public property. It is private land. Guard it. This requires a certain kind of inner posture, a seriousness, a standard. That standard sounds like this. If it is not part of my purpose, it will not take my energy. If it does not build me, it will not get my time. If it weakens my mind, it will not live in my mind. That may sound strict, it is, but so is the cost of a wasted life. You must learn to value silence again, not emptiness. Silence. There is a difference. Emptiness is laziness. Silence is power. Silence is where you hear your own thoughts clearly for the first time in days. Silence is where ideas rise. It's where conviction hardens. It's where your future speaks to you without interruption. Spend some time with yourself every day, on purpose, with purpose. Think, review, aim. Ask yourself, what am I really building? A person who never sits alone never really knows where he is headed. he's just moving. You must also learn to say no without guilt. This is difficult for many people. They fear they'll offend someone or miss something or fall behind. But listen carefully. Every yes you give to something unimportant is a no you quietly gave to something important. You cannot keep saying yes to others and still say yes to your own future. People who achieve uncommon things all have a moment in their life where they become selective. They stop living to be available and start living to be effective. Mediocrity has a scent. You can recognize it. It sounds like this. That's good enough. No one will notice. I'll do it properly later. This is fine the way it is. You must refuse that way of thinking. You must begin to take personal pride in the quality of your effort, even when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. That is how you separate from the crowd, not by announcing yourself, but by quietly holding yourself to a higher standard than most people would ever demand from you. Keeping standards is lonely in the beginning. At first, people may not understand why you're so focused, so disciplined, so serious. They'll call it unnecessary. But later, those same people will call it impressive. You cannot let the casual mindset of others pull you down to a life you don't want. Protect your focus like a gatekeeper. Protect your time like an investor. Protect your energy like a craftsman protects his hands. Because if you don't, the world will spend all of it for you and leave you with nothing but regret. Why distraction is the modern form of failure. People imagine failure as a great collapse, the business that never worked, the dream that never started, the opportunity that slipped away. But failure rarely arrives in one moment. It builds quietly in the little compromises of attention, the times we meant to focus but didn't. Distraction is failure in slow motion. It doesn't destroy your life overnight. It just weakens your aim, one unfocused day at a time. A person can work hard, stay busy, and still fail completely, because failure isn't only the absence of effort, it's the absence of direction. You can't hit a target you no longer look at. The world rewards the man who can hold his gaze. Every great success, every invention, business, discovery, or masterpiece was born from someone who learned to stay with a single idea long enough to bring it to life. The distracted never reach that point. They start, they stop, they switch. They burn through their energy, but never gather momentum. It feels like movement. You feel involved, you feel active, but you're really running in place. It's a treadmill disguised as progress. Look closely and you'll see that distraction is not harmless. It's the great thief of our age. It steals the very thing that defines achievement, sustained thought, the ability to think deeply, to stay with a problem until it gives up its answer, is becoming rare. And yet, that ability is the foundation of everything worthwhile: art, science, leadership, character. You cannot build anything meaningful while your mind is elsewhere. A distracted worker can't master his craft. A distracted leader can't inspire others. A distracted thinker can't change the world, or even his own circumstances. Distraction takes from you in ways you don't immediately notice. It dulls the sharpness of your ideas. It replaces depth with surface. It gives you the illusion of variety while robbing you of progress. And the cruelest part? The more distracted you become, the less you realize it. The mind begins to crave movement over meaning, novelty over purpose. It gets used to being pulled apart, and slowly, the person who once had potential becomes a collection of unfinished efforts and forgotten beginnings. The opposite of failure isn't success, it's focus. Success is simply what happens when you direct your energy long enough in one direction. Failure, in its modern form, is nothing more than 1,000 scattered moments that never had the chance to add up. You can't avoid distraction entirely. Life will always have interruptions, but you can decide what deserves your attention. You can reclaim your time by remembering that every minute spent unfocused is a minute borrowed from your future. So if you want to see how successful a person will become, don't watch what they start. Watch what they stay with. Because distraction is the quiet seed of failure, and focus is the soil where every fortune begins. How focus creates clarity, confidence, and direction. Focus is more than attention. It's alignment. It's when your mind, your energy, and your effort all begin to point in the same direction. The moment you learn to give yourself completely to one thing, life begins to open up in front of you. Focus is the opposite of confusion. It turns noise into order and chaos into purpose. When a man knows what he's after and holds his gaze long enough, the path starts to reveal itself. Not all at once, but one clear step at a time. Most people think clarity comes first and focus follows. But it's the other way around. Clarity grows from focus. When you stay with something, a goal, a craft, a problem, long enough, you begin to understand it deeply. What once looked complicated starts to make sense. The fog begins to lift. A scattered mind can't see clearly. It jumps from one thing to another, forever chasing new beginnings, never reaching understanding. Focus, on the other hand, is like polishing a lens. The more you stay with it, the sharper everything becomes. And with clarity comes confidence. You begin to move differently when you finally see where you're going. Doubt fades, not because the world changes, but because you do. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop being pulled by every opinion. You start trusting your own direction. Confidence isn't built by shouting affirmations into the air. It's built by keeping your attention steady long enough to see real results. Every small victory carved from sustained effort strengthens your belief that you can achieve more. And that quiet belief, that sense of calm certainty, is what makes others begin to believe in you too. Direction is the final reward of focus. When you stop scattering your energy, life begins to align. You start recognizing what matters and letting go of what doesn't. You begin to sense when something is worth your time and when it's not. You stop reacting to every noise and start moving with purpose. A focused person doesn't rush. They move steadily, deliberately, knowing that consistency beats intensity every time. They understand that focus isn't about doing more, but about doing what matters most. That's how focus quietly builds a foundation for fortune, not just in wealth, but in character. Because a focused person becomes reliable, disciplined, predictable in the best sense of the word. Others learn they can count on him, and the world always rewards dependability. The scattered man might know many things, but he masters none. The focused man might know only one thing, but he shapes it until it shapes his life. Focus doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. It sharpens your mind, strengthens your spirit, and directs your energy toward a life of meaning. And once you've felt that kind of clarity, the calm that comes from knowing exactly where you're going, you'll never want to go back to confusion again. Why deep work is the foundation of wealth and purpose. There is a kind of work that changes everything it touches. It's not loud, it's not rushed, and it doesn't depend on constant excitement. It's quiet, deliberate, and deeply human. It's called deep work. Deep work is when your mind is fully present, when the rest of the world fades and only the task remains. It's when time seems to disappear because you are absorbed completely in what you're building. It's the state where mastery begins and where meaning lives. Most people never reach it anymore. Their minds are too divided, too restless to settle into true concentration. They touch everything lightly, but grasp nothing deeply. And yet, the ability to work deeply is the single greatest advantage anyone can have, in business, in art, in thought, in life. Wealth is created by those who can stay long enough to go beyond the surface. Shallow work can make you busy. Deep work can make you rich, in skill, in wisdom, and in understanding. Because deep work produces value that can't be copied easily. It carries the signature of effort, the mark of thought, the fingerprint of quality. The craftsman who works with patience, the thinker who explores an idea fully, the leader who plans carefully, they all practice deep work. And the world pays them not for the hours they spend, but for the depth they bring. When you give your full attention to something, you don't just perform better, you become better. The mind itself changes. It grows stronger, more disciplined, more capable of solving complex problems. Deep work trains your mind to endure, and endurance is what separates the amateur from the professional, the wanderer from the winner. But deep work requires solitude. It asks that you step away from the noise and sit quietly with one thing. It demands patience, the willingness to do something long after the novelty has worn off. And that's where most people give up. They think boredom means they're done, when in truth, boredom is simply the threshold of real focus. Every great life is built on the foundation of deep work, hours, days, years of unseen dedication. The writer alone with his thoughts, the craftsman shaping wood until it fits perfectly, the entrepreneur studying, refining, improving. That unseen effort is where fortunes are built. Because wealth doesn't come from movement, it comes from concentration. And purpose isn't found by chasing every interest, it's found by diving deeply into one. Deep work doesn't just produce results, it produces peace. It gives you the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing you've done something with care, that you've given your best to the moment at hand. When you live that way, every day becomes meaningful. Every task, no matter how small, becomes a chance to build something lasting inside yourself. That's why deep work is more than a skill. It's a way of living, a way that turns ordinary effort into legacy and scattered motion into mastery. Lessons on attention and achievement. Every great achievement begins the same way, with attention. A single person deciding, this matters. I will give myself to it. That moment of choice, quiet and private as it may be, changes everything that follows, because once attention is given fully, growth begins. Attention is more than awareness. It is commitment. It says, I will stay here until this becomes something. And that is the seed from which all greatness grows. The reason so few reach mastery is not because they lack talent. It's because they never learned to keep their attention on one thing long enough for mastery to appear. Attention is life's lever. Whatever you lean it toward begins to move. If you place it on problems, your problems grow larger. If you place it on possibilities, your opportunities begin to expand. You are always feeding something. The question is, what? The person who learns to direct his attention becomes powerful in any field, because while others scatter their minds, he gathers his. He is not easily pulled. He listens longer, studies deeper, works steadier. Time begins to work with him instead of against him. Achievement is nothing mysterious. It is the natural result of sustained attention applied toward a worthy goal. Every inventor, artist, builder, or leader has lived this truth. They learned to hold their focus through boredom, through doubt, through the long quiet seasons when no one was watching and nothing seemed to happen. Those were the hours that shaped them. The world sees the final result, the painting, the business, the book, the discovery, and calls it genius. But genius is only concentration disguised as talent. It is the ability to keep one's mind fixed upon something long after the average person would have turned away. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Progressive, not instant. Worthy, not shallow. Ideal, not imitation. And what carries you toward that realization? Your attention, your ability to stay with a worthy purpose until it becomes a part of who you are. Every time you bring your attention back to what matters, you strengthen a muscle that most people never use. And that quiet strength accumulates in discipline, in patience, in wisdom. It becomes the invisible weight behind your success. So, learn this simple lesson. Wherever your attention goes, your future is quietly being built. Every day, you are investing the most valuable resource you have. Not money, not time, but focus. And what you invest in grows. If you scatter it, your life becomes scattered. If you direct it, your life becomes directed. And the person who learns to direct his attention learns to direct his destiny. Attention is achievement in its earliest form, and achievement is attention made visible. So, in the end, life doesn't reward the one who moves the fastest. It rewards the one who stays the longest, the one who learns to keep his attention where it belongs. Distraction will always be waiting, whispering, offering the easy road. But fortune, mastery, peace, they live down the narrow path called focus, and every step along it asks you for the same price, your attention. If you learn to give that, fully, deliberately, without wavering, life will begin to change shape around you. You'll see clarity where others see confusion. You'll feel calm where others feel chaos. And in time, the world will begin to reward you for something simple, something rare, your ability to stay. Remember this, greatness doesn't come from what you occasionally do. It comes from what you refuse to stop doing. So guard your attention, protect it, honor it. Because where your attention goes, your life always follows. And if you give your life to what truly matters, then one day the world will call that focus fortune.